Henry Barbour joins us, GOP strategist, Mississippi delegate. Good morning, Henry. How are you, sir?
Hello, Paul. I have to admit I'm tired.
Yes.
We've been staying up way too late here in downtown Milwaukee, but we're having a big time, and we're excited about a big speech from Donald Trump tonight that I think a big crowd of folks in America are looking forward to hear it, and including some, Paul, that I think maybe weren't thinking that they might be open to voting for Donald Trump. I think now with what's happened with the shooting and with what Donald Trump has said in the last week, I think it's opened more people's minds. And, of course, with people who are just frustrated with Joe Biden, who are desperate to get new leadership and get the country back on track, I think Donald Trump has a huge opportunity tonight to really kind of rise above all this and set a tone that he's been talking about of bringing America together. And so I'm excited, and all our delegation is excited. We got a big crowd up here, and it's a fun and I keep using the word exciting.
What was on the agenda when everything was over last night? I mean, did you guys go find, Old Milwaukee? Remember the old commercial, Old Milwaukee, the beer that made Milwaukee famous? That was it, wasn't it? Made Milwaukee famous?
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. There's no question. And I got back to the hotel maybe about, I don't know, midnight or 12:30 or something, and there was a big crew of our Mississippi delegation last night who wanted to rehash everything, and they wanted to have a cocktail or a lot of beer drinking. And I don't know, I went to bed about 2, and a lot of that crowd was still rolling.
At least you're honest. I appreciate that. Listen, you've heard the latest news, and I guess the scuttlebutt is around the convention itself. When you saw it, and I don't even know if you've seen this yet, when he got the word that he had COVID and he boarded the Air Force One, I'm not sure where he was going at that particular time, he barely made it up the steps without any assistance. Is this guy going to make it? I think next week is it. I really do. I think next week, maybe the week after that, but I think next week because their convention is coming up. So, and it was an interesting take on this from Trent Lott, who was on with me in the last half hour. But what are your thoughts on that? You think he's going to make it another week, or you think he's going to try to stick it out?
Well, I have been saying for the last 2 years, because people have been speculating for a long time that this guy really won't be able to do this again. But I have been saying consistently, there is no way they're going to do anything to get Joe Biden to give up being the President of the United States and living at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's just loving it. Jill Biden is loving it. And so that's kind of where I've been. I will certainly admit in the last 24 hours, there are a lot of folks, certainly here in Milwaukee and otherwise, who believe that things have turned, and some of the comments that Joe Biden has made about, well, if a doctor said something about, a condition that he had, that maybe he wouldn't run. Yeah. But he certainly is not going to do it willingly. And of course, Paul, he's the only one that can make the decision to pull out. But
is that true, or can they collectively, use the 25th Amendment and just regardless of what he thinks?
Technically, yes, but politically, no. I don't believe that would happen. It's one thing to have some Congress folks kind of turn it against him, but his cabinet and the vice president, to throw him out, I would doubt that it would happen that way. But clearly, there's rising pressure on him. I guess that Schumer said yesterday that he should go or something to that effect. So there's mounting pressure. And from a standpoint, Paul, they're in a world of trouble. I mean, Donald Trump is in a position, and not just Donald Trump, but the party, where, I would have said a couple months ago, unlikely that Republicans can hold the House. But it seems, I think now, the way things are, that we would hold the House and maybe gain a few seats. And the Senate, I think the low bar is that, we would get to 51, and the high bar is we might get to about 54 in the Senate. I honestly, I think that if Donald Trump can stay focused on his message of, I'm going to bring America together, and we're going to talk about issues that people care about and make more sort of a policy-oriented campaign, I think he wins the popular vote. And that'd be the first time in 20 years that Republicans have won the popular vote. That'd be a huge deal.
Let me toss this scenario at you, just in make-believe world, that the Democrats in their war room saying right now, there's just no way, even if Biden just stays into it, there's no way we're going to win this. The landslide, like you said, the popular vote's going to go to Trump, and we can't cheat enough to make it believable. There's just no way to do that without causing riots in this country. And so let's forget about that. Let's go on and take these key states. We got all of these illegal ballots out there. And if we use them on Trump, it's not going to be believable. But let's target them to key positions, and let's make sure we take over the House and or the Senate and keep the Senate. Oh, you think it's a possibility?
Well, I think certainly they could be in their strategy and war room trying to figure out how do we salvage this? What's the best way? And I do think making a change at the top of the ticket is the smartest way for them to salvage. And Kamala Harris, I don't believe is going to be the next president of the United States, but she could possibly bring some energy, possibly, to the ticket that could perform better, and as you say, maybe allow them to take the House. I think the Senate, I think it's gone. I mean, I think we're going to get to 51 anyway. I don't think there's a whole lot they can do about that. It seems to me. But I will say that they need this election to be about Trump, and he's a felon, and all these terrible things that they want to talk about. But I think it's to the point. The only way this becomes about Trump is if Trump makes it about it. But Trump has been so disciplined in the last couple of months, particularly, and really after the primary. With the debate and after the debate and after the shooting. And they need Trump to give them a political gift. And last night, late, as I was leaving the convention hall, I saw Chris LaCivita coming my way, and we chatted. And Chris LaCivita is one of the two closest advisors to President Trump in the campaign world and RNC world. And LaCivita said to me, Henry, even you are going to love tomorrow night's speech. Wow. And which tells me it is absolutely going to be a speech that is about the politics of addition, and that it's issue focused, and that it is fundamentally about bringing the country together. And I just think if Donald Trump sets that tone and stays on those same themes over the course of the next few months, we're going to have an outstanding year, but there's a long ways to go between
that's true. Anything can happen. Well, there was a lot of excitement about his speech prior to the assassination attempt. Now it's on steroids. Regardless of who the people are on the Democrat side, there's two things that they cannot wipe out. Democrat policies on the border and on the economy, and they cannot get away from that. And one of the other things, as far as the border is concerned, so many African Americans are mad. And I think one of the things the GOP has got to do, they have got to understand that there are black citizens out there who are awakening to the fact that allowing all of these illegals in is stealing their vote in some of these communities where some of these folks have been there, like in Minneapolis and places like that, for a long time, and now they're awakening to the fact, wait a minute, that they're not only stealing our vote, they may be stealing political power by running for office. And I think a lot of them are beginning to wake up on that one, too. Look, it's going to be interesting, certainly for the next couple of weeks, and I think everybody's looking forward to the president's speech tonight. As always, my man, thank you so very much. Henry Barbour, GOP strategist and delegate. Get some more sleep, sir.
Thank you, Paul.
You got it.
Have a good day.
Back with the final segment coming up next.